Good morning, our esteemed viewers, and welcome to the continuing coverage of Arise News state elections held in Nigeria. I'm Ruben Abati.
I'm Ayon Mairo, Essay.
And I'm Rufai Osini. For the next 5 hours, we shall be bringing you all you want to know about the unfolding electoral process with updates across the states of the Federation.
Welcome back to Nigeriadecides on Arise News. More than 48 hours after voting was concluded in most states, results are beginning to emerge. A few states have been announced and collation continues in other states. Elections have also taken place in some local governments where voting was postponed on Saturday. Let's take a look at the reports on the state elections so far.
All right, and we begin in Lagos, where the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared Babajide Sanwo-Olu as the winner of the Lagos State governorship election. Speaking at the state headquarters of INEC, the returning officer Olajide Adenike said Sanwo-Olu polled 762,134 votes to win the contest. The Labour Party came second with 312,329 votes, while the People's Democratic Party trailed in third with 62,449 votes. The declaration means Sanwo-Olu has secured the second term of governor of Lagos. Meanwhile, the Labour Party, which had Gbadebo Rotsvival as its governorship candidate, has rejected the results.
Sanwo-Olu Babajide Olushola of APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law, by scoring 25% in 2/3 of the local government areas of the state, and also having the highest number of votes cast, and meeting the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Signed by Professor Adenike Olajide, this day, 20th day of March 2023.
And Governor-elect Babajide Sanwo-Olu is calling on all residents of Lagos to work together to build a city to envy. Sanwo-Olu made the remark while acknowledging his victory among his friends and party faithfuls.
Who has kept all of us, up until this moment, for sparing our lives, for making it possible for each and every one of you, all of you good people of Lagos, to see today. And you have all voted this moment. I want to thank you, and I think the thanks goes to Almighty God.
Earlier, the Labour Party candidate in Lagos condemned the elections and says he is heading to court.
Completely condemn the entirety of this election in every clear term. This was a sham of an election. It was a compromise. It was an illegality that has not been perpetrated in Lagos since I've been born. This was an election where entire agents of a party were chased away from their polling units. This was an election where people were standing, and if you came to vote and you were not Labour Party, they were beating you. I've had to pay the bill for over 12 people. One was in concussion, he just woke up today. One's leg is completely broken, he has to go into surgery. And I've been doing this entire morning. I cannot even transfer money again because I'm done transferring just on hospital bills. So I condemn this. I will never call Babajide Sanwo-Olu to congratulate him for this shambolic, this sham of an election, this violence that's literally setting a precedent for war in the next election, because nobody is going to come into elections believing that they will discuss ideas and issues anymore. Because what is it about? It's about who is the most violent. I thank the army. I thank the DSS. I thank the Navy. I thank the neighborhood watch that came. If these people did not get involved, what you see, what all the videos you have seen will be child's play compared to what the reality would have been. In Ikorodu, people died. In Apapa, someone died. In Shomolu, someone died. So how are you saying that people will be aware that a person has been killed and they will come out and vote? in Nigeria, people were sitting down in their house because they were literally threatening them that if they come out, they will kill them. And they were following people and going to their houses. After they will follow you to your houses to go and threaten to harm your family. This Lagos deserves so much more. Look at Oyo State. Seyi Makinde won. People are jubilating. He did not have to use any violence. He did not have to use any intimidation. When you serve your people will return you to office. We should not be seeing videos of so much violence statewide.
The All Progressives Congress has criticized the Labour Party governorship candidate in Lagos, Gbadebo Rhodes Bible, for being a, quote, bad loser. In a statement, the APC spokesman in Lagos State, Sheye Oladejo, says the party's attention has been drawn to a statement credited to the LP candidate where he accused INEC and the police of provoking Lagosians. Also, Ahmed Aliyu of the All Progressives Congress in Sokoto has been declared the winner of the state governorship election. Aliyu polled 453,661 votes to defeat his closest rival, Saidu Umar of the People's Democratic Party, who polled 404,632 votes. Umar Namadi is the winner of the election in Jigawa State. Namadi of the All Progressives Congress scored 618,449 to defeat his closest rival, Mustafa Lamido of the People's Democratic Party, who scored 368,726. Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahaya and governorship candidate of the ruling All Progressives Congress has won the Gombe State governorship election. INEC returning officer for Gombe State, Professor Maimuna Waziri, declared Governor Yahaya winner, having scored a total of 342,821 to defeat PDP's Jubrin Bade, who scored 233,132, and NNPP's Kamisu Meilantaki, who polled 19,861. Governor Inuwa Yahaya, in his acceptance speech, says the victory is for all citizens of the state, assuring them that the next 4 years will be added dividends for the people.
Yahaya Mohammed Inuwa of APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
For giving me the honor to serve once again as your governor for another term of 4 years. The extraordinary outpouring of support and solidarity in the just concluded governorship and state assembly elections has reaffirmed my belief in your determination to choose the politics of development and progress over that of retrogression and blackmail. Through the ballot box, you've made clear priorities and aspirations for Gombe State to continue on the path of progress, prosperity, and all-inclusive development and good governance.
Let us reconfirm to you that Diko Umar of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has also been declared the winner of the governorship election in Katsina State. The INEC coalition officer for the Katsina State governorship election, Professor Muazu Abubakar of the Federal University Gusau, declared the candidate winner, having scored a total of 859,892 votes. PDP Senator Yakubu Lado came second with 486,620 votes, while Nura Khalil of the NNPP came second with 8,264 votes. PRP's governorship candidate Imran Jino came a distant fourth with 4,226 votes. In Kwara, Governor Abdulrazak Abdurrahman has won re-election as the governor of Kwara State for the second term in office. Abdulrazak, who contested on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, polled 273,424 votes to beat his closest rival, Yaman Abdullahi of the People's Democratic Party. And in Yobe, Maimala Buni is the winner of the election in Yobe State. Buni of the All Progressives Congress scored 317,113 votes to defeat his closest rival, Sheriff Abdullahi of the People's Democratic Party, who scored 1,004,259 votes. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Resident Electoral Commissioner in Kebbi, Professor Yusuf Seidu, has also declared the governorship election in Kebbi State inconclusive over what he described as irregularities which marred elections in 18 local government areas of the state. The returning officer quoted some sections from the electoral law which gave him the power to declare the results inconclusive. The Independent National Electoral Commission has also declared the incumbent governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, as winner of the Saturday, March 18 governorship contest. State Collation Officer Professor Adebayo Bamire revealed that the PDP candidate polled a total of 563,756 votes to defeat his closest rival and candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Teslim Kolawole Folari, while the Accord Party candidate and former Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, Adebayo Adelabu, managed to score 38,357. With this declaration, Mr. Makinde has now secured a mandate for a second term in office.
Candidate number 6, Olani Kolawole Teslim Mil of APC, had 256,685 votes. Candidate number 14, Makinde Oluseyi Abiodun Mil, PDP, had 563,756 votes. That's Makinde Oluseyi Abiodun of PDP, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared winner and is returned elected. Signed by the returning officer, Professor Adebayo Simeon Bamire, on this day, 18th of March, 2023.
The Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, has been declared the winner of the governorship election conducted on Saturday. Governor Abiodun was declared winner by an Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on Sunday. The incumbent governor defeated his closest rival, Ladi Adebutu of the People's Democratic Party, with just 13,915 votes margin to emerge victorious. He scored 276,298 votes to defeat Adebutu, who polled a total of 262,383 votes. Candidates of the African Democratic Party, ADPB, Otegbeye, came third with 94,754 votes. People's Democratic Party governorship candidate in Akwa Ibom State, Umar has been declared winner of that state's governorship elections. He won 29 local government areas, while the Young Progressive Party Senator Basi Akpan won his own local government area, Ebono Ibom, and Ikono local government area. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared PDP's Umar a winner of the governorship election in Akwa Ibom State. Umar scored 354,348 to defeat his opponent, Senator Young Albert of the YPP, who scored 136,262. A lot to talk about this morning, Naya.
Yes, a lot to talk about with regards to the elections over the weekend, gubernatorial and State House of Assemblies. We've just announced, based on INEC's announcement, some of the results already concluded in the states. As we mentioned earlier, some states in the north, some in the south as well. A number of things have been said about the elections, and you can tell from perhaps the mood around, but that's not enough to judge in terms of how people perceive. But it is important to gauge the reactions of Nigerians as to how well this election has been handled. First of all, congratulations to all the winners that have been announced and to the parties who are celebrating at the moment, the political parties as well as individuals. A few things to just note, despite the G5, the question around whether the G5 would affect Governor Seyi Makinde's re-election, it proved that he was able to maintain his Oyo State seat of power, and the people came out massively to vote for him. There was rejoicing and jubilation once his result was announced, and he's the second governor who is going to be Kosheleri Part 2, because the first being Senator Abiola Ajimobi, and now Governor Seyi Makinde. And a number of observers have said that this was a reward of his achievements in Oyo State in the last 4 years. And then we have from Lagos State, just announced in the early hours of this morning, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu emerged as winner with a significant margin between him and the first runner-up, Gbadebo Rhodes Vibe of the Labour Party, and a distant third with Olajide Adediran Jando. Now, Lagos State, there have been a number of reports of irregularities marring the elections in Lagos State. A number of people have come out with reports of how they were not disenfranchised, sometimes deliberately, how some people were threatened. Some people couldn't, the process itself was faulted. My process of election, in terms of, even from a personal point of view, INEC didn't provide the closed ballot, the boxes to vote. And when I inquired, they said they weren't given. And so on getting to the venue, we had a number of thugs waiting. And when we got there, they were literally, the APC agent, and I say this because he had his badge on his chest, was looking at everyone who was voting and seeing how they voted. I had to literally use my body to block the view so that I could vote my choice, because irrespective of who we were voting for, it was important to maintain the principle of secret ballot. And so those were some of the things, and obviously my case isn't in isolation. There are reports which we're going to verify and talk about in the course of the day as to what happened. But that's, I mean, despite that, we've seen the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, come out to give his acceptance speech, or initial speech, having been announced winner. A few other things there in the north, in the south, Pastor Umar. So on a lighter note, Akwa Ibomites can smile to the bars on Friday if he will indeed make good on his promise of a happy hour and discounted drinks. But a few things we'll definitely get to talk about in the course of today. I'll leave it at that. Congratulations again to the winner, and hope peace will win.
Okay, on Saturday, March 18, the elections postponed from March 11 to March 18 took place in over 1,000 constituencies. The candidates in that election were over 930 candidates in the election. And by this morning, as of yesterday indeed, we were already getting reports. In that election, 28 states went to the polls to elect new governors. 11 of the candidates were incumbent governors. And from the reports that we have been getting, in Lagos, the incumbent was returned. In Oyo State, the incumbent was returned. In Gombe, the incumbent was returned. In Yobe, the incumbent was returned. And also in Kwara, the incumbent was returned, judging from the results that have been announced so far. Maybe perhaps more incumbents would get back to office. Well, yes, the people who won have been jubilating and all of that, but I think the issues are far more fundamental. Take, for example, in 2015, Nigeria made a little progress after the 2011 elections, after the 2007 elections, where you had, not so many litigations, where you had an incumbent president saying, oh, look, I don't want to fight. Well, the question to ask, having witnessed the elections, February 25 and the March 18 elections, is what lessons have we learned? It seems to me that the professional political class in Nigeria has not learned any lessons. If any lesson was learned at that pivotal moment in 2015, all those lessons have been abandoned. We are effectively back to the old ways of managing politics in Nigeria, whereby, the process is just Machiavellian. Just win by any means possible. One of the first lessons I learned, in politics is that, look, it's better you just win by any means, because elections are, determined by your strategy. The man with the best strategy will win. The strategy you can interpret in any way possible. So all these highfalutin ideas about this is how democracy works and all that, it is not clear to me. from what we have witnessed in this process, that Nigerians, are worried about the theory. They just want to win by any means possible. What is the effect of this? The effect of this is that if you compare this 2023 process with previous elections, some people say it's free and fair and that it's credible. But there are other persons who have raised questions of legitimacy, of credibility, and of how Nigerians will be able to live together after this election. Would there be healing? Would there be restoration? Because people have been wounded in many ways, and not many people have faith in the outcome of the process. Take, for example, the spate of violence in this election. From Lagos State to Bauchi State to Rivers State to Delta to Abia, where there was an assault on the INEC Collation Center yesterday evening. The stories we have had is all about violence. Over 20 persons died. So must Nigerian leaders waste lives because they want to lead? Must leadership mean I want to lead you by force? Democracy tells us people should be allowed to make a choice. But one of the outcomes of this process that I have seen is that in many parts of the country, and anybody can go and measure it, the reports are out there in the public domain, you find persons saying, we must win this election by force. Hence, observers were intimidated. INEC officials were also intimidated. Members of other political parties were also intimidated. In Lagos, in fact, in many parts of Lagos, if you looked, just mere look, if you looked like an Igbo person, you were an easy target. So how do Igbo people look? There have been reports of persons who may be Igbo going to vote. They said, oh, they started speaking Yoruba so that they will not be a target. That's not the standard. That's one. Number two, voter apathy. In Rivers State, in Bayelsa, many of the polling units were empty. In other parts of the country, the same thing. Because people said, look, in any case, they've decided who will win. So why do I have to bother myself? Ovieteme George showed a young man playing football on the streets of Rivers and Bayelsa. And when he asked them, he said, well, what does it matter? We're not important in this election. That is one of the outcomes. Number three, the integrity of INEC itself has been called to question in many parts of the country. Rotimi Amechi, former minister, said, in fact, what we have confronted, what we have seen is a failure of governance. The same government that he was part of, the same government where they made him Minister of Transportation. He declared, both-facedly, shamefacedly perhaps, that look, governance has failed. And that his own party, the APC, was competing against PDP, INEC, and the police. The emphasis on the police is instructive. In many parts of the country, the police were shown, in fact, in Bauchi, not in Bauchi State, in one of the states in the north, supervising the distribution of cash. Policemen were seen in some other states helping to steal ballot boxes. In some other parts of the country, ballot boxes were snatched and set on fire. So there's so much out there, that has been reported. So it's not enough to just say, oh, we have done it. Well, that's the Nigerian way. You say, oh, we have conducted the election, let the country move on. Whoever is aggrieved, go to the courts. So the burden, very heavy burden on the courts. And INEC's integrity has been called to question, not just by Rotimi Amechi, who has questioned the integrity of Professor Mahmood Yakubu. Also, the PDP, in a statement signed by Frank Shaibu on behalf of the PDP presidential candidate, has also called, the integrity of Yakubu Mahmood to question. He's been accused of personally compromising the process and of being an agent of the ruling party. So this is a process that has created more doubts than confidence. And the question is, how will people be able to live together after now, hereafter? In Abule Lado yesterday in Lagos, there was tension. So this electoral process is supposed to bring peace, is supposed to bring Nigerians together. Nigeria still has a long road to travel with elections. Nigeria is in need of healing, is in need of reconciliation. So beyond the triumphalism that we have seen on all fronts, the professional political elite and the relevant stakeholders may not have done so well. However, the EFCC managed to arrest up to about 65 persons who were openly buying votes. You can imagine the scale of the kind of suppression, intimidation, violence that characterized this election.
So I hope I get the chance to speak because I have a lot to say this morning. Here we are, just like where we were in 1983. 40 years after, we've not learned anything. These elections, I thought, was going to turn the corner for Nigeria because it will make it 100 years since we first voted in this country. But we've not learned anything. One thing that came out of the 83 election was the song by Fela that says demonstration of craze, crazy demonstration. Isn't it demonstration of craze that a day before the elections, a person affiliated with a certain political party in Lagos threatened people from other tribal groups, and the police spokesperson came out the next day and said, let's take it as a joke? And truly, on election day, all the threats made by the individual came to pass. Is it not demonstration of craze that people were beaten for voting their choice in democracy? Let's just call their elections dictatorship. Because if you have a right of choice in a democracy, and you are being beaten and coerced, and in parts of Lagos, people went around ringing bells that if you are not voting the ruling party, don't come out. And police couldn't stop them. Is that not a demonstration of craze? Is that not a demonstration of craze that innocent journalists doing their work, flying their drones, were beaten and punched in the face? Is that not a demonstration of craze? Is it not a demonstration of craze that the will of people were suppressed? They went for elections to choose whoever they want to choose. And guess what happened? A lot of them ended in the hospitals. But let me tell you something. Despite the demonstration of craze, we have heroes. The true heroes are you Lagosians that despite the beatings, you went ahead and you voted. You made your vote count. Ayo, you that use your body to cover your votes, despite the intimidation and voted your choice, I put it to you, you are our hero this morning. All the Lagosians that are currently in hospital beds as we speak, that are beaten from going to the polls, you are the true heroes. For those that have won, I'd ask you this. What did you win? Did you win the confidence of the people, or you won intimidation and fear of the people? Did you win the belief of the people, or you won their disbelief in what Nigeria has become, sadly? Did you win the trust of the people, or you won the discontent of the people? Did you truly win them over, or you won chaos on the streets? Did you truly win the affirmation of the people, or you won the coercion of the people? Did you really win the togetherness of the people, or you won the division of the people because of your own innate selfish benefits? Did you truly win the love of the people, or you won the disgust of the people? So I ask again, for all of those that won by coercing the people, what did you win, I ask you? One day will come, we'll grow old, we'll be in our dying beds, and we'll take a panoramic view at our lives. Would you truly say that this was a moment you were proud of? Would you truly tell your children that this is a moment I can bequeath to you as my legacy? Would you truly say it was a sweet victory? Because after all is said and done, life will have stripped you to bare knuckle. It will be a preparation to meet your maker, and you will take a panoramic view of your life. You've got nothing to hide or no shame. You are no longer who you used to be. It is going to be you and your conscience. What will you say to yourself about this moment? And that's why today should be a time of introspection. I believe Nigeria can heal despite the brokenness in the country today. But for us to heal, we need to tell ourselves the truth. And for those that did win in a clean way, that got the affirmation of the people, continue to do your good work. Continue to win the trust of the people. But in all of this, have we truly won togetherness? I weep for Nigeria.